Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good morning to our West Coast folks that might be joining us. How's everyone feeling this uh, fine, almost last day of January 2023? It feels like first month of the year has flown by already. Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone that I may have not seen since the holidays had a great holiday, great New Year. Um, we're real excited to kind of get things kicked off here with Unlock Higher Ed and this new year. It's going to be a year to remember for this space of higher ed in prison and education justice with Pell reinstatement and just different things going on around the country around access to education for people with criminal histories on their record. So yeah, so excited to be in this space with you all. For our newcomers that haven't joined us before, we're going to continue kind of doing what we have done a few times in the past, particularly when there is a good number of us to be able to do it, is do breakout room introductions. So in just a moment, I'll, kind of buying some time to get a few more people to join if there were some folks joining us a few minutes behind. But in a moment here, I will open up breakout rooms. And if you've joined us before, then you're pretty familiar. Try to take at least 2 minutes or 1 to 2 minutes or so to give a quick introduction of who you are, where you're calling from, if you want to share who you work with and what you do at your work, but even more importantly, what brings you to this space in terms of being interested in higher education policy and education justice for folks who've been impacted by the system. So I will open up our breakout rooms, and there should be about 3 to 4 people per breakout room. And if you can just spend a few minutes introducing yourselves, and then by 15 after the hour, so about 10 minutes, we'll jump back in to the main room to get going on our agenda. So the room should be open. And if you can just click join, and I will see you in about 10 minutes. Hi, Sarah. We're just we just jumped into breakout rooms for introductions. So I can drop you in a breakout room.
Okay.
So I just sent you a notification, Sarah.
Becoming the bear.
Sorry.
So we'll talk about it later. Yep. Thank
No,
you.
no, go ahead. Okay, yeah. I could touch base with you right after this if
Okay,
you're still.
yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back. Welcome back. That was a quick 10 minutes, but that was indeed 10 minutes. hopefully, maybe everyone didn't get a chance to give intros, but hopefully you got to learn a little bit more about somebody if you didn't have the opportunity yourself to give an introduction. Um, we have introduced that in the virtual world we live in just to try to get folks who are sharing space in the same room a little bit of chance to get to know each other a little bit. So hopefully you learned something new, you enjoyed what you heard. Did anyone want to share a few words about anything they learned new or something that they shared in the group? Maybe take one or two comments. Did anyone meet anybody new? Did you happen, Judith or Christy?
Yeah, it was great because when I got on here, I'm like, oh, I recognize some faces, but everyone in my group I didn't know. So that was awesome. I got to know more people, except for Jessica at the very end. I was with her all weekend. So yeah.
Nice. Yes, welcome to our new Just Leadership folks who just started up their first weekend. Congrats, congrats. If no other comments, we can kind of jump into the agenda here. And I'm looking to see, I know we have a few people that we hope to share a few words on the agenda. And I think I see most of their faces here. So again, just wanted to welcome everyone. We're excited to kind of kick off a new year with Unlock Higher Ed. One of the things that are first on the agenda is really to introduce Judith, who has been a part of the P2P family for quite some time, but has moved into this role here with Unlock Higher Ed. Has also been a part of Unlock Higher Ed for some time as well. But Judith went through our P2P Scholars Program several years back, and almost, I guess, immediately she kind of connected with us when she hit the ground and kind of has hit the ground running and taken on and helped out in a number of different places and efforts, but has always stayed very close to P2P. After completing the scholars program, she became a mentor with us. And then along with mentoring with us, she joined us in DC for some advocacy work that we did on the Hill this past year. And she also does a lot of, policy advocacy work in her home state of Florida. So, it was, as we were really looking to think about taking Unlock Higher Ed to its next level in its existence, Judith was a perfect person to kind of look into that role. Her history of working with large organizations. I mean, she has a strong history of working with um, uh, large entities across different states and across different sectors. And so this coalition building work that we do here in Unlock Higher Ed was something that is very familiar to, like, the skill sets that she possesses and that she's passionate about. So we were very excited to have that conversation with her and see if she would be interested, and she was. And so she is here now with us to help bring some organization and management to the backbone of keeping Unlock Higher Ed pushing forward. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. But before we do that, I just wanted to pass the floor to Judith to share a few words about who she is and why she was interested in taking on this role.
Well, thank you for that introduction, Stan, and I'm happy to be here. I see some familiar faces, I see some new faces, and I'm excited to learn from each and every one of you what you're doing in your space. And as Stanley mentioned, I've been with P2P since 2021. I was fortunate enough to be able to be part of their scholars program, and I saw how beneficial education was for individuals coming home, because we do have some major struggles that we have to overcome. So that to me was important, because I saw how important it was, not only coming home, but in the inside as well. I was as you call it, a forced resident of the Federal Bureau of Prisons for almost 9 years. And but it afforded me my education. It afforded me an opportunity that most people didn't have inside. I was placed in the better jobs. I was placed in the better positions. I had better relationships with the staff because of my skill set, because of my education. And I saw how many individuals in my space struggled with that. So I saw the importance of having education, access to education inside. And many of them did not have that. They weren't afforded that. And so when I came home, I tried to find and connect with entities that are in that mindset, that are in that focus. And I came across Unlock Higher Ed and their goal to reinstate the Pell Grant so that individuals inside can have access to education. That's very important to me, because even with my resources, my support system and everything else, I've struggled through reentry in some areas. So I can imagine those individuals that don't have that skill set, don't have the education, don't have the support system, how difficult it is for them to have a successful reentry. And reentry doesn't start just when you get home. Reentry starts from the inside. That's why this is so important to me, to be part of this. Now, my skill set is in organization. Even though I've done some policy work and some campaigning with, clemency petitions, the CARES Act, the Keep on the Home campaign, parole and probation through reform, the remission for restitution. I've been involved in those campaigns, but my skill set and my passion is in bringing big groups and communities together. I feel like I'm like a puzzle builder, and I love to see when the puzzle is complete. So I see all these spaces in Zoom right now, and I see them all as puzzles and a collaboration that can come into a beautiful landscape of a puzzle building aspect. So I'm excited to see all of you guys' collaborations on here. I want to bring this forward to, highlighting your work in this coalition, collaborating, talking about the struggles that you have found in your space and how we can support you in that aspect, the strides, because in this space, strides count, right? Any little step forward in the right direction, that's meaningful, that's strong, and that's hard. So the fact that we are achieving that, it's commemorable to be able to highlight. So those are the things I want to do. I want to bring this coalition to a higher level of more communication within the members and stronger coalition and community building.
Yes. Thank you, Judith. We are very excited to have your expertise in, organizing and building coalitions and really bringing people together. So I wanted to jump right into the next thing that Judith is kind of going to help me through on the agenda. So last year, and really just all throughout Unlock Higher Ed's history and existence, we've really made things move by having subcommittees. And those are really the legs of what we do. And so I've wanted to talk a little bit more about that. And I've dropped a sign up form in the chat, and I can share my screen here for a quick moment. That might be the best way. So this is the sign up, and we just sent this out this past week as we were advertising for this meeting today. And there's already been about 20 plus folks that have signed up. So thank you to those that have been interested in signing up. You can see what we're, from the process that we really went through last year and really kind of solidifying what it would look like to be on the committees. We're really looking for you to attend this monthly meeting and one other meeting that your subcommittee hosts or has. And then, a little bit of time in between possibly working on something that your subcommittee is working on. And so in this form, it explains what the mission of the subcommittees and the charge of the subcommittees. And many of you were part of this process last year and really helping solidify or revise these missions and charges for each of the different subcommittees. So you can see them on this sign-up form, but also on the agenda. If you click on the link within the agenda, it'll take you to this form, which we're working on getting all of these up on our website. So we're working to update the Unlock Higher Ed website to be very easy for people to engage and get involved with helping out. So we're going to, each one of these subcommittees will have a tab on the website that essentially you can sign up on, via the form, and you can learn about if it's something that you want to take part in. One of the big differences or additions, so last year, we really worked on what the mission and charge of the committee, what the structure is going to be. We really wanted it to have a co-chair structure. So we have some of the co-chairs, and we've gotten confirmation from most of the co-chairs that from 2022 that have agreed to also be co-chairs in 2023. And one of the additions from last year is this: we have this deliverable on each one of the in each one of these documents that are explaining the different committees. And that's what we really wanted. We spent a lot of time last year thinking about, like, what is the tangible thing that Unlock Higher Ed as a whole could be working on. And so from these missions and charges, we come up with these deliverables that for each of the committees, we really want to increase engagement in, just awareness and engagement of the work. So we're asking each of the committees to submit content to the media and messaging that they can build into the social media plan that they already have. So there's already a plan laid out for the next couple of weeks, and you may have started seeing it ramp up. The Unlock Higher Ed social media sites ramping up, and they're going to hopefully increase with this being one of the deliverables. Each of the committees should present content related to their committee to put forth. So I think that's kind of an easy lift deliverable, but then each of the other, each committee has kind of a heavier lift, if you might say, deliverable. Whereas, so this here is the state level committee, asking them to be working with at least 2 different states on pushing towards ban the box on college applications. And we already, through work of Unlock Higher Ed, had developed kind of a how-to guide to pass legislation at the state level. But possibly the deliverable could be to create and publish on the website or in some like white paper format or something, a how-to guide. And then also on Unlock Higher Ed, we already maintain a repository of like what states have introduced or passed. So working to keep and maintain those efforts. And I think that those deliverables, could potentially change as the subcommittees are, working and doing the work of what their mission or charge is. Similarly with the federal level committee, this year there's kind of a big focus on reinstatement of Pell and prison education programs. So, vaguely speaking, creating some type of guide that might help bring equity to prison education programming. And, there's I know that on the agenda today, in the state of Maryland, for instance, it's already started the process of building this advisory committee. And, we were going to share some resources on what Maryland is doing a little bit later. But that might be something to think about. Also, if there is the opportunity to draft and place op-eds, I think, positioning a particular point of pushing something up or saying that something that a particular, like the Department of Ed or a particular university is not bringing equity to the field, maybe dropping an op-ed that shows that, or that, presents that. And that be something that could be a deliverable for the federal level committee. There was a lot of people. So I mentioned that there was about 20 people that signed up, 20 plus people that signed up. A lot of people are signing up for federal and state level because, they want many people that join Unlock Higher Ed are looking to do policy work. There was a little bit less people that signed up for these other committees. But these are very much kind of like backbone things. They're going to support the kind of what you might think of more as policy work. But we really can't get policy work accomplished effectively if we're not pushing it out and letting people know about the work that's being done. So I think this is less people signed up for this particular, thus far there was less people that signed up, but it's an important committee to really help the backbone of getting what is done and the word out. I think we hope for this committee to also help with drafting op-eds. Some of the other committees might have the content and or maybe want to write an op-ed about something that they're specifically doing in one of the states that they're working in, to ban the box, for instance, or to create equity in one of the advisory committees. But working with them to create an op-ed might be something that this committee does. And this committee would also be helping to, as a backbone effort, to maintain the listservs and maintain the contact information, as well as, in working with the membership committee to do that as well. One other thing that was also added with the membership committee, we thought, and from the steering committee conversations, to really have them help with creating and applying to and for grants, and potentially helping to think about fundraising. So again, these are kind of backbone things that you might come to this space to not necessarily to partake in these types of activities, but if you have skills in these, we would really encourage you to join a committee like the membership and fundraising. And lastly, and then I'll stop talking. I feel like I've been talking for a while, and we could take some questions, and Jude, if you can add in as well, is the events. This was something that we kind of started a long while back at in wanting to do quarterly events, and I think that that be another goal, and we could spend more time talking about how that could come to fruition. But one of the examples listed here is within this group, probably on this call alone, we have enough subject matter experts that we could likely host and put something together where we inform the larger community and on some particular topic. So I think looking to be very intentional about hosting subject matter expert type of events. And yeah, I'll stop my share there and see if there's any questions, comments, thoughts. Judith, if you want to add anything.
Yeah, I just want to say a couple of things because I know there's some new faces here, and I just want to reiterate what this coalition is about. This is to center the voices of leadership of formerly incarcerated scholars and professionals to the forefront, right, of matters of advocacy, policy, public education in the local, state, and federal level. Most of you in this space are already doing that. So it's just a matter of bringing you guys together to a platform where you can discuss and collaborate and unite, if you will, in your work. So you're already doing everything that is happening in these committees. It's just a matter of engaging in it and sharing it with the other individuals in this coalition. So that's what it's about. It's about networking. It's about bringing all our work together. Because if it's working in one space, it can certainly be implemented and worked in other spaces. So, you know, it's making our work, in some sense, it's making our work easier to be able to see what's happening, what's working in other spaces, and collaborate and bring that home.
Yes. Thank you, Judith. There's some comments in the chat. So Sarah, I see, do we need to sign up again? If you are on the committee that, if you don't want to change committees, you're still on the one that you were on last year, you're on that listserv. So you would not need to sign up again. And Bradley, thank you for dropping that resource on op-eds. I think that's definitely something we want to, keep in our back pocket, particularly as I think this coming year is an opportunity, I think, for, to really let our voice be heard in terms of like what should and shouldn't be done as, this thing that we've been waiting for a couple years now. Well, actually, for a couple decades now, takes place. So thank you for the question in the chat. Are there stipends available for formerly incarcerated community members who lend their voice to this platform? So for if we host in-person events, we're looking to provide stipends. If we host virtual events, we're hopefully looking to provide stipends. At the moment, we don't have it set up to where if you're referring to stipends for one of the committees, we don't have stipends for participating in a committee. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so I'm one of the new faces here. This is my first time coming here, so I appreciate you clarifying like what is at the core of why we gather here in this space and why we're being asked to maybe take on additional workloads when all of us is so heavy, right? Very important. But I think about centering the experiences of directly impacted people, and I know that necessitates access to resources. Otherwise, we're just playing ventriloquism, or we're passing messages and translating messages, or we're only maybe elevating the voices of people who have some measurable degree of success and then have the time to be here, like myself. You know what I'm saying? So, in order to really get a holistic view of what's at stake, I'm
Yeah.
just always advocating for resources to be allocated to make sure that the under-resourced are not being demanded to do more just to meet a baseline of being heard. You know what I mean?
No,
That's just what I'd like to add to this.
100%. That's a fantastic point, and I'm glad that you bring it up. And I mean, one of the big things that Judith will also be helping, and that we're also going to be kind of focusing on within the steering committee, and also we added this component to the fundraising, we added this idea of fundraising to the membership committee. So we Unlock Higher Ed is underfunded itself, right? So we want to try to bring some funding to Unlock Higher Ed. That's going to be one of the goals for the year. And we have some strategies to do that. But we do have some funding to do the things that I mentioned in terms of if your voice is being, presented, you're speaking virtually or in person, there would be a stipend for that. But yeah, we thought about this, and you're absolutely right. So people that engage with us are likely, a lot of the people on this call right now are in this space already. So, it's valuable for them to join because they're already in the space. But, there is a privilege inherently to be in this call, right? Because if you're in a type of job that doesn't give you that type of privilege, it's going to be hard for you to be in that space. So but those voices matter is essentially what you're saying. We don't want to lose those voices, what I hear you saying. So I agree. And, I think that's something to work towards.
If I may add to that, Jose, the other benefit is you're among many institutions and organizations and individuals that do have those means, that have, these events going on where you can learn more, where you can, grow in your space and in what you're doing. And they may have scholarships as well. So the fact that we may not have a particular stipend right at this moment, and it's something that we're working towards in the future, many individuals in this group, in this coalition, do have those abilities. So if there is speaking engagements, if there's conferences, or there's work that's being done, you can tap onto those resources. So again, what we're trying to do is we're bringing everybody together with different resources, different skill sets, and different opportunities, so that we can work with that and we can grow ourselves within. Right, from within, our network from within, and how that's going to look in whatever is working in those policy changes, and we can bring them home in that sense.
Yes. So I'm switching devices. Give me 1 second. But I believe that is all that I was going to have for that particular part in the agenda. And I know we have about 15 minutes left. And were there any other comments? I wanted to stress that, please, I'll redrop the sign up for subcommittees. So I really encourage you to join a subcommittee if you haven't. And if you have any questions, you could, reach out to Judith or I, or the subcommittee chair. So in those documents, I encourage you to pull up the agenda and, reach out to a subcommittee chair if you're interested as well. We'll be working with them to try to get regularly occurring subcommittee meetings, just like this is a regularly occurring same time every month. We want to try to do that with the subcommittee. So hopefully by the next week, you should be getting more information on a regularly occurring subcommittee meeting.
So we do look forward to what we're going to be doing in 2023. And one of the aspects of things that have been doing and continue to be done is ban the box. And with that, I'd like to, if Stanley, if you don't have anything else, I'd like to introduce one of our speakers today, Christy, that's going to be letting us know the work that's being done with Ban the Box in her state and in other states as well. And Dr. Noel Vest as well.
Hi, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. Is Noel on here? I didn't see him yet. Okay, great. Well,
I'm here.
Okay, hey, Noel. Do you want to start, or should I just introduce myself?
No, go ahead.
Okay. Well, I'm really excited to be here and see, as I said, a lot of familiar faces and those that I haven't met before. And so I work for Operation Restoration, and we support the efforts to ban the box in the different states. We've already passed them so far in 7 states, and that's in California, Colorado, Louisiana, Maryland, Oregon. That's what we did, Oregon and Washington and Virginia. And so, you know, my passion really is to provide support, and also really to help everyone understand that, like, you may think that banning the box and, you know, the advocacy, that you don't know all the steps to it, which is what I really didn't know a lot of it at all, really, when Noel sent me a tweet one morning a few years ago to say, hey, I've done this ban the box. I think it was a really cool experience. And I think you would really like it as someone who's been incarcerated. And so I just said yes. And actually it was an amazing opportunity. It really led me to all you guys, getting to know all of you, and really an opportunity for those that have been incarcerated to use your voice in a way that can make change. Also, I think it's great that it would enabled me to network in my state. I was in Oregon when that happened, and so I got to work with Deb Arthur, and we you know, provided testimony and had different meetings with the different legislators. And it was one of those you know, great having Noel as a backup, and that's what I'd like to be for anyone that wants to work on that issue. But also just to kind of be brave and reach out to, you know, your legislators, and also other people in your state, you know, whether it's professors, presidents of the college, other students that that maybe you have been inside classes with those incarcerated. It really levels up, I think, the whole classroom. And so I just want to let you guys know that I'm here to support in any way. And right now, the only one that I've been working on since I'm kind of taking Noel's spot is Connecticut. So we're in the process of pushing that through now. And that's pretty much what I got. And if you guys have any questions, let me know. And I could put my phone number in the chat and my email if you guys want to contact me.
So yes, I have a question. So you mentioned Louisiana as being one of the places that this advocacy is happening down there around Ban the Box. And it appears that you also mentioned some other states on the West Coast and then on the Northeast Coast. Is there any advocacy, you know, kind of like more aggressively pushed toward the South? I mean, being that I'm in the South, in regards to Ban the Box and higher ed. I rarely hear anything about the South. Louisiana is pretty much progressive in a lot of ways, more so than other states that reside beside it and around it, like Arkansas, Texas, Tennessee, Missouri. But I think Missouri do have some advocacy, but certainly in the core of Arkansas, Texas, Tennessee, we don't see a lot of activity. It appears that a lot of advocacies groups kind of stay away from the dirty South. And I just kind of want to know what kind of initiatives or what kind of thought is happening around really being influential in the South. Because I mean, those policies down there are still embedded in Jim Crow kind of mindsets. And it's just not, I mean, it seems like many organizations stay away from that area of the South. So could you share a little bit about any future plans about maybe working with higher ed in the South in regards to Ban the Box?
Well, my first thought is that would be a great thing for you to do with us, right? If you're in Arkansas, I can work with you on that. And Noel would know about any of the previous efforts into that. Do you know?
Yeah, so hi everyone, my name's Noel Best. I've definitely, so I've collaborated a lot with many people on this call and with Operation Restoration in the past in doing this work, you know, and Odell hits a really good point And the thing is that with this kind of legislation, really up until this point, and this kind of gets back to some things that were brought up earlier on this call. You're either extremely lucky to have funding to do this kind of work, or you do it out of the goodness of your heart. And so, with that kind of being the model, sometimes it's very, very difficult to find places that have been successful in doing this, because it takes a lot of work from people that are not going to be getting paid to do it. And so when you're talking about that kind of advocacy, that kind of volunteer effort, it's very difficult for people to take time out of their schedules to do that. And you have to have an uprising of individuals in that state that are willing and have the time to be able to do that. And up until this point, a couple of people have reached out to me from Arkansas before, here and there, just wanting more information, but there hasn't been this groundswell that is really necessary, I think, to really take the advocacy to the next level, because there really is not a lot of funding to do this work. And so the states that I've seen be successful, it happens to be luck more than anything. You have a group of individuals that are really, really passionate about this because it's affected their lives, and they're able to really kind of create this network, go in, do some really great work with legislators, and then advocate at that state level. But like I say, it really, it's not about like whether it needs to be done in that state. This needs to be done in every state. But it's being kind of lucky in that you have the advocates on the ground to be able to do that also have the time to be able to devote to that. And that just hasn't happened in many states, not just Arkansas, but many other states as well. I see that Aaron has a question too.
Oh, not a question. Hey, y'all. Just Christy, who have you had a chance to talk to in Connecticut? And are there any folks that you have been trying to get in touch with that I might be able to help out with?
Our main contact is Dieter. So I spoke with him and a couple other folks probably about 2 weeks ago was the last effort.
Okay, I
If
might
you have
also
more
send-
names.
Oh yeah. I mean, Dieter Tejada is great. He's also, as with the rest of us, like his plate is super duper full.
Yeah.
And so I would absolutely 100,000% encourage reaching out to Senator Derek Slapp, as well as Representative Greg Haddad. They're they're the co-chairs of the Higher Ed and Workforce Committee at the state level. And the former co-chair, Representative Josh Elliott, is now working with the Speaker of the House. So he's not on the committee, and we don't have as ready access to him. But we do have ready access to Derek Slapp and Greg Haddad. And I've also spoken to representatives at the Connecticut Consortium for Independent Colleges, as well as folks at CSCU, Connecticut State Colleges and Universities. So
Great.
there are people in place who are ready to kind of get this done. It's been on the books a couple of years, but hasn't passed because it's been tied into other legislation. And so I think having conversations with Slapp, Haddad, Jen Witness, and Terrence Chang will probably get y'all a little bit further, in addition to your conversations and your work with Dieter. Chandra Bizelko is a formerly incarcerated journalist who can also probably get you some momentum in the local and national newspapers. So I can get you her information as well, but happy to think more about impacted people who can help y'all with this work in Connecticut.
That would be great, Aaron. Thanks. I'll give you a call and I'll make sure I get all the names that you just said. Make sure I have the spelling and contact for them. Okay. Appreciate
Well,
that.
that was definitely what our goal is, right? It's to network and to be able to bring this movement on forward, because we're all doing hard work and we shouldn't be working in silos. I mean, there's power in numbers, right? And we have the numbers here. And with that, I want to also bring out Dr. Andres again and William Freeman, and they're going to talk a little bit about the PEP Advisory Committee that's going on right now in Maryland.
So I think we could maybe table that. Let's get 5 5 minutes left. But we can just open up to maybe do announcements and move that to the next meeting. And I also don't see Lindsay's here with. But
Dr. Andres, we can't hear you.
oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? I was suggesting that we table that conversation to next time since we only have 4 minutes. So we could just open it up if anyone wants to have any new business or announcements they want to share.
I see no hands up, but I do see some stuff going on in the chat. And again, you know, for those of you guys who are new to this, thank you for joining us, and we appreciate what you're doing. And don't feel that you are alone. You have this awesome network of individuals and you know, corporations and educational institutions and organizations that are doing the work as well. So it behooves us to join forces in that sense. And for those of you who have been since the beginning in this coalition and in this network, and you know, we truly appreciate what you guys are doing. You're paving the way for us. So thank you for that. There is a movement going on. There is a lot of talk going on. Even when I see in South Florida being talked about reentry and education, believe me, in South Florida, in the state of Florida, when I see that talk happening, I see you guys are doing some awesome work out there in other places. So I'm just happy to model that, and you know what's going on with more progressive states to be able to bring it home. And Jonathan knows what I'm talking about. And with that, I don't know, Dr. Andres, if you have any other words to say.
No, just thank you, everybody, and great seeing all your faces for the new year. We will have information on subcommittees coming soon, and thank you to our subcommittee chairs for agreeing to be chairs again. And yeah, that's it.
Well, thank you guys for everything, and have a great rest of the week. And please let us know the strides you make throughout your time, okay? Thank you.
Be well, everyone.
Thank you.
Hey, Christy,
Yeah.
let me drop my contact info in here for you before they close out the meeting.
Okay, great. That would be great.
Okay. And so this is my, that's my email and my cell phone that I dropped for you.
Okay. See right now. Okay, I got it. Let me copy that real quick. Okay, thank you. I'll call you.
Thanks.
John.
I'll see you later. Bye, Judith.
Bye, Judith. Bye, Deb. Nice
Good to see you, Christy.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you for coming, Katrina. You're a wealth of resources, Katrina, so I welcome you in this space.
Okay.